Hello and welcome back to Mysti-Fi, your go-to destination for mystery sci-fi movie recaps. Today we're diving into a movie called The Forest. Before we begin, I want to remind you that this video may contain spoilers. Without further ado, let's head straight to the story. Sarah Price wakes up from a strange dream. She gets out of bed to pack her things. She received a phone call from the Japanese police, telling her that they think her troubled twin sister Jess is dead, so she goes to Japan and arrives at the hotel where Jess was staying. The next day, she goes to the school where her sister Jess used to work, and the students freak out because they know Jess went into the suicide forest and presumed dead, so they think Sarah is a Yuri, which is a ghost. Sarah decides to head to the suicide forest. She goes to a visitor center and asks the receptionist if she saw her sister. She says yes and invites her downstairs to show a dead body, but it's not Jess. She is warned about the danger of the forest and explains how the Yuris can make her see things and use sadness in her heart against her. Sarah meets a reporter named Aiden. Aiden invites her to go into the forest with him, and a park guide named Michi, to look for Jess. As they enter the forest, Michi tells Sarah that Jess has most likely killed herself. Sarah refuses to believe this because, being her twin, she can feel that Jess is still alive. They eventually discover a yellow tent that Sarah recognizes as belonging to Jess. With nightfall approaching, Michi suggests they leave a note for Jess and leave. Sarah refuses, and Aiden volunteers to stay with her through the night. That night, Sarah hears rustling in the bushes, and believing it may be Jess, rushes into the woods after her. Sarah finds a Japanese girl, Hoshiko, who claims to know Jess. The girl warns Sarah not to trust Aiden and flees at the sound of his voice. Sarah attempts to chase after her, but falls and loses her. The next day, as they walk, Sarah's suspicions are raised, and she demands Aiden to give her his phone. She finds a picture of Jess on it, but Aiden denies any involvement with Jess. Sarah runs into the forest alone and she begins to hear voices telling her to turn around. She runs away and falls through a hole into a cave. She later wakes up and discovers that she is in the cave with Hoshiko, who turns out to be a Yuri. Sarah then runs back towards the cave's opening, where she finds a flip camera and sees the scene where her parents died and her father jumps up in the slide of photos. Aiden finds her and helps her out of the cave. After some convincing, they continue to walk together. Aiden takes Sarah to an old ranger station he claims he discovered while looking for her. Sarah hears her sister's voice coming from a locked basement and finds a note that implies that Aiden is holding Jess captive there. Convinced that he is a threat, Sarah attacks and kills Aiden with a small kitchen knife. As he dies, Sarah realizes that Aiden was telling the truth and that the picture on his phone, the voice at the basement door, and the note had all been hallucinations. In the basement of the ranger station, Sarah sees a vision of the night her parents died. The ghost of her father suddenly appears and lunges towards her, grabbing her wrist. She cuts his fingers away from her wrist and escapes the station. Running into the forest, she sees Jess running towards the lights of the search party. Sarah calls her sister, who is unable to hear her. She realizes that her escape from the ranger station was another hallucination. When she cut at her father's fingers, she actually cut deep into her own wrists and is now dying from blood loss in the basement. As she dies of her wounds, the hands of a group of Yuri pull Sarah beneath the forest floor. Jess is rescued by the search party and explains that the feeling of her sister is gone, and it is assumed that Jess knows Sarah is dead. As the search party leaves, Michi suddenly sees a dark figure at the edge of the forest and realizes that it is Sarah, who has turned into a Yuri. If you enjoyed this video, please make sure to hit the subscribe button and turn on notifications so you never miss a new release. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next one.